So I understand the sugya today is Hapula Hargacha Hashkeim Lahargai, which is a fascinating sugya I dealt with Kama V'Kama Pa'amim in my sforum. First, Minchasosha Masechet Psochim, which was one of my early sforum. And in the new edition, Minchasosha Aratoila, in Parshas Bolak, there are two simonim. But I want to start off with something that is related to our present situation in Israel. In Eretz Kodshenu, we are waging war. Does Abola Hagachu Hashkem Lahargo have anything to do with war? Because in the Sugis and the Gemara, it is not related to war, but rather to a specific situation in which Mr. A is chasing Mr. B with intent to kill him. And it is more associated with the sugya of Boba Machteres. Today, our sources are very scarce, very few sources, so I will be matriach you. Could we have on our screen Medrash Rabbah, Parshas Pinchas, Perek Chof Aleph, Dalet? If it would be possible, I think it would be extremely interesting.
If I go to the other set of Marmakaimis that came in early in the morning, the other set.
It's the big mamish, the beginning of Medrash Rabbah Parshas Pinchas.
Yeah, here we go.
Here we are. Oh, fantastic. Could we have it on the screen?
That's coming up in a second. Let's go to the top.
So, no. It's not the Rabbeinu Bachi. It's not on my source sheet. That is why I apologize. But I did see it a moment ago on the screen. It's not on my source sheet. I started off with Rabbeinu Bachi, but I would like to have the Medrash Rabbah at the beginning of Parshas Pinchas. Here we are. Tzoror es hamidyonim. Lama ki tzororem heim lochem benachleim. Mekan omru chachamim. So this is a very important source in the Medrash. We learn this concept from Melchemes Midyon. Moshe Rabbeinu tells Bnei Yisrael, Tzoror es hamidyonim ve'kisa moisam ki tzororem heim lochem benachleihem, which means they want to destroy you, and that is why the Torah says you are to destroy them. However, in Shas, we find a different source, which brings us to the Ayin Beis Amud Aleph. We just need to scroll down an inch or two. Here we are. The Mishnah says, Aboba Machteres, Nidon al Shem Soifoi. Omer Rava. My tamed the machteres chazoka eno the mamadatz ma'al mamoinoi. When a person breaks into your house in the middle of the night, he probably assumes you're not going to sit on the couch while he turns over your house, breaks open your safe, takes all your money, takes all the jewelry. You're not going to sit idly by. So a person who's a burglar breaks into your house in the middle of the night, takes into account, what will I do if husband and wife will get up and fight me? I will hurt them. And therefore the Torah says, Chazaka eino the mamed atzma al mamoine v'hai meimar omar. The burglar says to himself, I azilne koel apoi v'loi shavakli v'i koel apoi katilne lei. So obviously the Bavli says this is the source of the halacha bola hagachu hashkem lahargai. The fact that a boba machteres im b'machteres yamotza aganev ein lo domim. So the Torah says if a person breaks into your house in the middle of the night, a burglar, obviously it's a burglary. It's not a terrorist. It's a domestic crime. It's not terror. It's not the enemy. It's not in times of war. But nevertheless, the Torah says, Ein lo domim. you're entitled to kill him. And why is that? We get into the mind of the burglar. What does he think when he breaks into a house? And he knows people might be home. They won't let me just take whatever I want. It's not a store. They will probably stand against me and I will kill them. Is this the same concept as Roidef Acha Chaveira Lahargai? Let's move forward to the Ayin Gimel Amud Aleph. One page, we turn one page. Ayin Gimel Amud Aleph. Ve'elohen shemetzila noisem benafsham haroidef Acha Chaveira Lahargai v'achazocha v'nar marasa. We skip over to the first piece of Gemara. Tone Rabbanan. And the Gemara asks, no, from this pasuk we learn a totally different concept, different halacha. So, the chiyuv to save a person's life. We learn from L'samad Adam Riyecho, so we can't learn the din of Roidev, who says we kill a person to salvage another's life. So the Gur brings a different source. Elo, nitan latzila benafshay menolo, nasir bekal v'choy menara hamarasa. And then the Gemara asks, and how do we know that Nara Hamarasa Nitan Latzila Benafshay? We scroll down 4 lines. Venara Hamarasa Gufa Minolan Kedetanya Detanya de Bera Bishmoel Tzakwa Naro Ve'ein Moshiala. Uyesh Moshiala B'kol Dover Shiyochel Lohoshia. So the concept of Roidef Acha Chaveira Lahargai Nitan Latzila Benafshay we learn from Nara Hamarasa. Abo Lahargai Vashkim Lahargai we learn from Boba Machteres. According to the Medrash, Melchemes Midian. What is the difference between these two concepts? What is the difference between every Roidef? We kill the Roidef to save the Nirdaf. So what's the Chiddush Abu Lahargai Hashkem Lahargai? The fact that he's chasing me, would that be any different than he would be chasing another person? So one of the most fundamental axioms that I teach my Talmidim, if Chazal give what seems to be the same halacha, but they quote different sources and they use different language, it must be a different concept. Abu Lahargai Hashkem Lahargai and Roidef Acha Chaveira Lahargai Nitan Latzila Benafshay cannot be the same concept. And why not? 2 different missions, close one to another. Ayin Beis Amud Aleph, Ayin Gimel Amud Aleph, but Chazal use different language, and Chazal base this halacha on a different source. Right? If we learn from Nara Hamarasa, Abu Lahargai we learn from Machteres, they cannot be the same. What is the difference? Trying to define the difference between Abu Lahargai and Roidef Acha Chaveira Lahargai brings us to 2 fascinating sugyas, both in Masechet Brachos. But before we go to Brachos, I want to deal with 2 additional sources in Sanhedrin. We started off Ayin Beis Amud Aleph. We moved to Ayin Gimel Amud Aleph, and now we just go back 1 page, Ayin Aleph Amud Beis. Before we go to Brachos, Sanhedrin, Ayin Aleph Amud Beis. That's source number 4 on my source sheet. Ayin Aleph Amud Beis. Ben Seirer Meirer Nidon al Shem Soifoi Yom Zakai va'al yomaschayev. So let me make a note. Source number 4 is the Mishnah, Ayin Aleph Amud Beis. Ben Seder Amoyra Nidan Shem Soifoi. Source number 3. Abo B'Mechteres Nidan Al Shem Soifoi. Similar language. It's not exactly the same. But the Tzad HaShavah, the common denominator is Ben Seder Amoyra Nidan Al Shem Soifoi. Yomazakai va'al yomuschayev. And the Gemara, beginning of the page. So the Mishnah says, Misosin Shalashom, and Olahem, and Olahem. Then we go up to Ayin Beis Amud Aleph, Mesechet Sanhedrin. When the Gemara explains, what does it mean, Ben Seder Amoyra, Nidain Al Shem Soifoi? So Ayin Beis Amud Aleph, if we just move forward. Tanya Reb Yossi Aglili Oima. וכי מפני שאוכל זה תרתי מרבוסה ושוס החוצר יגליין ותל כי אומרת תורה יצא לבייזנם לסוקל. It's a child, it's a young boy. So he stole from his father and his mother, he got drunk, he ate some meat. Why is he chayav misa? הגיע תורה לסוף דעתו של בן סדר המוירה, שסויף. מגמי נחסייו, מבקש לעמודי, אינה מויצה, Malastem is a brius, omra toile yomasake ba'al yomaschayev. Now, there's opinion in the Gemara that Ben Seder Amoyra lo yehoya v'lo nivro ve'ina ela moshe, because it's really somewhat difficult to understand why the Torah is machayev misa. A boy that stole from his father and mother, ate meat and drank wine. But I just want to focus on 4 words: Nidan al Shem Soifoi, which means it's not about here and now. It's about a later stage. And on the same page we're looking at right now, the Mishnah, Bo B'Mechteres Nidan Al Shem Soifoi. So Ben Seder Amoyra Nidan Al Shem Soifoi is down the line. Might be a month, 2 months, 3 months, 5 months, a year. Bo B'Mechteres is also down the line, not a year. Maybe 5 or 10 minutes or 15 minutes. But the common denominator, the Tzad HaShavah between Ben Seder Amoyra and Bo B'Mechteres, this Bo B'Mechteres is not coming to kill. As I said before, he's not a terrorist. He's not an enemy soldier. He might be a poor, desperate, hungry young man, has no food and burning hunger, and he breaks into a house. But nevertheless, the Torah says, he probably took into account there are people living in the house. And they might fight me, and I will fight them. And that is why Nidon Al Shem Soifoi. So I think there's extreme importance in Leshonos of Chazal. 3 Mishnahs, one next to the other. Ben Seder Amoyra Nidon Al Shem Soifoi. Bo B'Mechteres Nidon Al Shem Soifoi. And the Gemara learns from Bo B'Mechteres, Roidev nitan latziloi benafshoi. How do we know the din of Roidev? Naro hamarosa. So Ben Seder Amoyra seems to be more closely related to Bo B'Mechteres than Bo B'Mechteres is related to Roidev. So what is the difference between Habula Hargacho and Roidev? So let me share with you my argument, and then we'll go over to Masechet Brachos. When we're dealing with a Roidev Achachaveira Lahargoi, and the one that needs to take action is a bystander, his life is not in danger. I don't want to say Reuven is chasing Shimon, because Reuven is a Jewish name and he's not supposed to be a murderer. Jack is chasing Moshe, or whoever he is. You cannot kill the Roidev until it is clear that his intention is to kill. When one boy runs after the other, a yeshiva boy, and you happen to be armed, and I encourage people in Eretz Yisrael to be armed. I encourage Avrechem people to get training and to have firearms. We're living in a bad neighborhood. And in most of terror attacks in the streets of Eretz Yisrael, the ones that kill the terrorists are civilians. Till the police comes and the army comes, the terrorists could kill 100 people. So in almost all the cases, the one that eliminated the terrorists and saved lives were civilians. And our community is extremely vulnerable. And the Arabs know that. They could come into a firm community and shoot and kill, and it'll take time till the police comes and nobody is armed. So, a scenario, 15-year-old yeshiva boy is chasing another, and you're armed. Do you shoot to kill? Of course not. In all likelihood, either they're playing, or they're angry, and he wants to give him a punch in the shoulder. Maybe he owes him money and he's chasing, he wants to collect his money. There is no din roigef unless it is clear that there is intention to kill. The roigef has either a firearm or a knife, a dagger, or a sword. If you're not convinced this is a pikuach nefesh situation, and he is a roigef achar chaveroi lehargoi, that's the lashon of the Mishnah. If we turn a page to Ayin Gimel again, haroidef achar chaveroi lehargoi nitnon letzila benasher. If there is any other interpretation why Reuven is chasing Shimon, and you're not convinced, the Mishnah says, and that means he has a sword, he has a dagger, he has a gun, and it's obvious that he wants to kill him. If he might be chasing him for any other reason, even if he wants to hit him, beat him up, you can't kill him. Are we 100% convinced that the burglar plans to kill if the people will stand against him? In most burglaries, it doesn't end with murder. In most cases, a burglar tries to break into the house, and when the people are up and around, he'll just jump right out the window and run away. But nevertheless, the Torah says, what I want to argue is was much broader based in than roidef. Because when a person's life might be in jeopardy, we don't expect him to take any risk. When you are a bystander, your life is not in danger. And you need to decide, do I kill Reuven or Reuven will kill Shimon? It is only if it is clear that Shimon's life is in danger that you have the right to kill Reuven. If this might be an innocent case and Shimon's life is not in danger, you have no right to destroy a person's life. We're not thoroughly convinced that the burglar intends to kill. But the person is breaking into my house. A burglar needs to take into account you're playing with your life. And the people living in that house have the right to kill you because they are not expected to take any risk. It is their life which is in jeopardy. So is relevant, even though there's a great level of doubt whether their life is really in danger. Because a person is not expected to take any risk with his own life. And therefore, Abova Mechteres is not based on the din of roidef. It is based on a new concept, which brings us to Masechet Brochos. And we scroll down to Brochos Daf Nun Ches Amud Aleph. Nun Ches Amud Aleph is one of the most important sources in the din of Moisa. Didn't we have a shiur recently about Moisa? I do not recall, but I gave somewhere, I can no longer remember what I say where and when. I remember what I speak about, but I'm giving so many shiur, I don't remember what I said where and when, but recently I gave a shiur in Moisa. No, I think it was in Koilel. It was in my Koilel. So let's have a look at Brochus Nun Ches Amud Aleph. Rav Shela Nagda Lehu Gavra de Bar Mitzvahs. So Rav Shela was an Amoira, and he gave Malchus to a person that was over and Boyer Aramis. That's a separate sugya than Eden Pei Beis. Ozel Ochal Bekurze Be Malka. The person who was punished by Rav Shela went to the authorities and complained. Omar, Ikechad Gavra B'Yedoi, Dikudayin Dina B'Loi Homer de Malka. He has no permit from the authorities, and he appointed himself as a judge, and he's judging people. And that is a crime. That's a federal offense. Shodalei Pristika. He was summoned to court. Kiyosa, Omrele Ma'tam Enagdes Elahai. Omrele Boal Chamarta. So, this is a lengthy story. He had a miracle. He was saved al yedei nes. And then the Gemara says, the end of the story is Chaze de ka'ozel amemre de krini Omer hay roidafi v'atoyla amro and borahagacho hashkem lorgei machye bekilfa bekatlei. So that person that complained to the authorities, Rav Shela said, he has a din of a roidif. V'atoyla amro borahagacho hashkem lorgei, and he was killed. He was destroyed. Let's have a look at Rashi. Atoyla Amro, in Bolahago, Huaskim Lahagoy, in Bemachteres, your Motze Aganev, the Fisher Ball is going to push us. Your nation, your Motze, the Temse Hoiter, Loisama, that's my Melahazel Mamoincho, or Boladas Ken. Amro Toyla, Askim Atolahagoy. But the Gemara says Roidefu. How do we know the din of Roidef? We don't learn the din of Roidef above Bemachteres. The din of Roidef we learn from Nara Maros. But Rashi is right. The Gemara says Roidefu, but the Gemara also says Atoyla Omro Borahagach Washkem Lahagach. So did Rav Shela judge this person Medin Roidef or Medin Borahagach? Rashi clearly says it is a Borahagach. And the Sefer is the Ikar, not the Reisha. Hai Roidefu, not really a din Roidef. It's more the din of a Bula Hagach, and that is where Rashi quotes in Bemachteres. The din of Roidef we learned from Nara Maros, as we saw a few minutes ago. So what I mean to argue is, was it clear that this person intended to kill Rav Shela? Not at all. He went to complain. He put Rav Shela's life in danger. But we're not confident that he planned to kill him. And especially now it's a b'di'evet. Rav Shela was judged. Kodesh Baruch Hu made a miracle. He was freed. Who says this person will do it again? It's not a clear situation in which we know this person is going to destroy Rav Shela's life. And that is why we couldn't have judged him b'din roidef. But Rav Shela is entitled to say, he did it once, he'll do it again. So from my point of view, and that is why Rashi says, this sugi is not based on Nara Hamaras. It's not really the din roidef, as we might learn from the first three words, Omar, I roidefu. No. The ikar is Atoyla Amro and Bolahagachu Hashkem Lahagoi. And Rashi says, Machteres, not Nara Hamaras. Brochus Samach Beis Umid Beis. We have another sugi. And in that sugi, once again, we find the Loshen, Roidef, Abulahagachu, which is somewhat confusing. Which of the two halachas is the real one? So the Gemara tells the story of David HaMelech and Shaul HaMelech. So anybody that learned Sefer Shaul, Sefer Shmuel, Pshutei Shel Mikra, Shaul HaMelech was obsessed with David. And he thought that David is undermining his kingdom, his kingship. And Shaul was convinced that David is a morid b'malchus. He's trying to dethrone Shaul and take the malchus for himself, which wasn't true. And we learned the amazing friendship between Yohanan ben Shaul and David HaMelech, and Yohanan, the son of Shaul HaMelech, went out of his way to help and to save David. And then suddenly Shaul goes into a cave, and David ambushes Shaul. And David stands on top of Shaul with a sword, and Shaul is totally helpless. He's at David's mercy. And David says, Omer David l'Shaul, min ha'Torah ben hariga ata, sheharei roi defato. V'Torah amro ha'bolahagach u'ashkem lahagach. Exactly the same as we learned of Nun Chesed Aleph. A confusion of two concepts. Omer David l'Shaul, min ha'Torah ben hariga ata, sheharei roi defato. V'Torah amro ha'bolahagach u'ashkem lahagach. El tzniya sha'isa b'cho. I observed you from the shadows. You didn't see me, but I saw you. And I saw you at tznius, and I saw you at tzidkus. And that is why I'm not going to kill you. Ben harigat. And I'm entitled to take your life because you're chasing me for weeks and months, trying to kill me. But when I saw what a tzaddik you are, I decided I'm not going to kill you. There's a lav mefurash. By sochas eincha olav. A person doesn't kill a roidef, he's over balav. It's not your entitlement to destroy a roidef. It's a chiyuv to destroy the roidef and save the nirdaf. So how could David say, you're a roidef, but I'm not going to kill you? If Shaul is a roidef, he must be destroyed. If Shaul has a din of a roidef, you cannot have mercy on a roidef. Lo yisachas eincha olav. So obviously, it's not the din roidef, but rather, HaTorah amra abolahagach u'ashkem lahargai. Let's have a look at Rashi. HaTorah amra im b'machteres yemotze haganev v'kvar pirashni u'lamalo b'maseh derav sheila. So once again, Rashi says, this Gemara is not based on the din roidef that we learned from Nara Marosa, but rather, abolahagach. And according to my Mahalach, it makes so much sense. Right here and now, Shaul is no threat to David. Shaul is helpless. David has the upper hand. He ambushed Shaul, he surprised him. David has a sword, and what does he do? He cuts off knaf me'iloi, cuts off a corner of his garment, of his coat, just symbolic. So Shaul right here and now is not a roidef. And maybe after Shaul sees that David had mercy on him, David could have killed him. They were alone in the cave, and David had rachmanis. Maybe Shaul will also change his mind and develop a more positive attitude. So Shaul was not really a roidef at this stage. And Medin roidef, David had no permission to kill Shaul because it's a question of a roidef. And I explained before, a roidef is only lehorgoi. At this point of time, Shaul was not a roidef. But because Shaul has been chasing David and trying to kill him for once and again and again and again, David had the right to destroy Shaul. But that is not a chiyuv, but rather a permit. If a burglar breaks into your house and you prefer not to fight him, you lock yourself in the bathroom till he's out of the house, definitely you're entitled to do so. You're not mechuyev to fight him and kill him. It's not like a roidev achachaveir hargo when he's chasing another person. So the permission that David had to destroy Shiur at this stage cannot be based on roidev. And therefore the Gemara says, and Rashi says, and this brings us to Sanhedrin Ayin Daled Amud Aleph. Once again, it's not on my source sheet. But if we could just turn the page to Sanhedrin Ayin Daled Amud Aleph, the top of the page.
Which sugya is the Rabban's for?
Ayin Daled Amud Aleph, the top of the page when the Gemara says Nitan Latziloi be'echod ma'evara.
You have to.
Yochel Latziloi be'echod ma'evara. I just want to have the Gemara. First tickle Gemara Ayin Daled Amud Aleph. The Gemara says, Haroi defache chaveiroi lehargoi. Roi defache chaveiroi lehargoi. Fourth line. So Reuven is chasing Shimon. Levi is a sharpshooter. And there are units trained in the army. They have special weapons, long-range weapons. Salafim. I think in English it's a sharpshooter. And they are trained with a perfect aim. The sharpshooter is confident, I could shoot him in the leg and immobilize him. He will not be able to run. He's going to fall down on the spot. But I'm not going to kill him. And you aim to kill, you have a din of a retzeach. And you will be judged as a retzeach shechayev misa. Because the only rationale to kill the roidev is to save the nirdaf. And if you could save the nirdaf without killing the roidev, you're mechuyev to do so. The Mizrahi, Rebbe Mizrahi, was one of the greatest gedolim 500 years ago. He asked Shalosh Tshuvos, but his most famous sefer is the Mizrahi HaPerush Rashi al Torah. And the Mizrahi argues the nirdaf doesn't have a chiyuv latzila b'yechod mi'everav, only a bystander. Reuven is chasing Shimon with intent to kill. Levi could shoot him in the leg. Levi is chayav to shoot Reuven in the leg. But if Shimon is armed, and Shimon also has a perfect aim, Shimon preferred to shoot him in the chest and not in the leg, Shimon will not be judged. That's what the Mizrahi says. And the Mizrahi explains this halacha because a person whose life is in immediate danger, Reuven is 100 feet from him. He might be on top of him in a moment. We can't expect Shimon to shoot him in the leg and take a chance. According to my shiur today, it's not just the svara ba'alma. Shimon is not only a matzil. Shimon kills Reuven based on the din of hashkem lahag, not based on the din of roidev that we learn from Nahara Marasa, but based on the din of that we learn from Achteres. And in this din, there is no din yochel latzilo b'yechod mi'evara. Hashkem lahargoi. So what I explained today is we're dealing with two different halachas, even though they might seem l'cha'ora to be the same. What's the difference between this halacha and that halacha? But I say there must be a difference. Two mishnahs, different halachas, different sources. It's clear in the Gemara, right? If we learn from Nahara Marasa, Bava Mechteres. In Shas Bavli, we learn it from Haskim laharga, we learn from Achteres. We saw the Medrash, Parashas Pinchas. Haskim laharga, we learn from war, from Alchemes Midian. So what is the same in war? When you destroy the enemy, you don't need to be 100% sure that this unit is going to kill you. You fight the enemy. And wherever you find him, you destroy him. And you kill his troops. Even the troops that are engaged in logistics, in the home front. That's the din of Abul Haga Choashkim Laharga, which is different than the din of So Abul Haga Choashkim Laharga we find in two different situations, in two different scenarios, in peacetime and in wartime. One source is in Medrash Rabbah Parshas Pinchas. We learn it from Alchemes Midian. The other source is from peacetime, and that is the din of Habo b'machteres ein leidomim. And what I wanted to prove from both Gemaras in Masechet Brachos is Abul Hagacha is a relevant halacha even when roidef is not relevant, because there is no heter to kill the roidef unless it is clear as daylight that the roidef intends to kill the nirdaf. And we have no other way to salvage the nirdaf. You cannot kill the nirdaf. But on the din of Abul Haga Choashkim Laharga, it's a different sugya, a different din. And just like Ben Soyer v'Moira and Ereg al Shem Soifoi, we find the same expression, Habu b'machteres, Nereg al Shem Soifoi.